All right, guys, this is pretty exciting. Let me flip you around. So I stayed up till 4 a.m. assembling this. This part was already assembled. I already had this ready to go. But this is the Enraged Rabbit Carrot Feeder. It is a multi-color, multi-filament, multi-material filament changer for a 3D printer. The way it works is, and I still have to install these in this after I wire up all the limit switches. What the limit switches do is there's a little ball bearing in there. You can kind of see the hole halfway cut off, right? But there's a little ball bearing. See if you can see it better. It's hard to see. And it's resting on the switch button. So when filament goes in it, it presses down on that ball bearing, moves that ball bearing out of the way, presses on the switch, closes the switch. If the filament runs out and that switch opens, then it shuts the system down. It says, look, you're out of filament, or it pauses it. It says, you're out of filament, please fix that. And it gives you a chance to remedy it. And these get installed, one gets installed in each space here. And these are called crossovers. They take filament and redirect it 90 degrees, basically. That's all it does. So I've got to wire up all the switches, and I've got the wire to do that. It's just a matter of cutting it to length and stripping it and soldering it and cutting it to length and stripping. Yeah, like that. And then I can, after I get that done, I can install these in each one. I think they go this way. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Which way does it go? Maybe that way? Here, hold on. Yeah, they go this way. The filament comes off the spool, wraps around this wheel. There's a wheel. You can see that? Yeah. Wraps around the wheel 4 times and then goes in here, or goes in here. This comes out, goes in somewhere. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. But anyway, this is called a buffer. This is the carrot patch. This is where all the carrots are stored for the enraged rabbit to feed on. The filament comes off the spool, wraps around here, wraps around this wheel about 3 or 4 times, then goes into the crossover, and then each one of these is hooked up to one of these. You'll have a tube going from each one of these to its corresponding spot. So you got a line going from there to here of filament. What happens is, you can see it's open in the back. You got this thing here. This is your selector. And I've got to adjust the servo. So I'm printing, let's say I'm printing with color number 1, right? It's on the number 1 spot. And in the software you adjust it, and you make sure everything lines up in the software, so when it's moving back and forth, it knows where to stop. And you got a motor. Let's see, you got a motor here that runs a wheel, a pulley, that runs a shaft that runs the entire length of it. And in each one of these, there's a drive gear. In each one of these units is a drive gear. So we're printing on this one. This port connects to a Bowden tube or a PTFE tube and goes to the printer head. So you got the spool, you got the buffer, the selector, and then the printer. That's the river it follows. So when I'm done with color A, this wheel, or I'm sorry, this little finger here that is pushing down on this top hat, they call it, right? It's pushing down on the top hat, and I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, see how you can push that down? There's slack, there's give. When it's down, it's engaged. When it's up, it's not. And the filament can go freely. So you've got a servo here that has a finger that pushes down or lifts up. So when you want to engage the slot, it pivots around, presses down on the top hat, and engages the filament. Then this motor turns the wheel, which engages the shaft, which it turns all these at once. If these were too tight, all the filament would come out all at the same time, right? That's why you have the selector to engage each one selectively, so you only have one filament coming out at a time. When I want to go to color 4, it retracts everything. The printer backs the filament out. When it gets past the sensor in the print head, this thing takes over and it keeps reeling out filament until, and there's a sensor in here that tells you when the filament's back here, right? Or it just knows that a certain amount of filament needs to be retracted. I guess that's done in the software, something like that. Anyway, and yeah, the reason it knows is because under this door, there is a rotary, it's a rotary sensor, just like in an old mouse wheel, right? It's a wheel with slots, and there's an optical sensor that the slots go between. And as filament passes through this, it moves that wheel, and it knows exactly what length of filament is going through the thing. So it knows how far to retract it to get it to here, right? To get it just past this surface. So I'm printing with filament 1. It retracts it. Beep. Done. Go to slot 4. Finger goes down. Grabs the filament. Puts it through the Bowden tube down to the printer. You're done with that one. Retracts the filament. Moves over to the next color. Pulls the filament out. Sends it to the printer, and you print with it. The belt's adjustable with this screw here. The reason you have the buffer is because you can pull filament off of a spool. Try pushing that filament back onto the spool, see what happens. You're going to get a bird's nest. What this does is it allows it to you've got extra on each one of these wheels. Fucking focus. When you pull it, it tightens up that loop, those 4 loops, and it rides on the wheel, right? The wheel will give it bearing. When it goes back, it doesn't have anywhere to go. It can't push it back onto the reel, but it can push it against this coil. So it just makes the coil larger and takes up the space in this housing, right? These are basically walls to keep it contained. So it contains the loop until it gets done with this business. And you put enough loops in there so that it won't jam up. so it'll have plenty of slack to feed back into. It's just an amazing system, and it looks awesome. I ran out of filament colors when I was printing these, and I just wanted to get them done. So anyway, that's why there's multicolors of that. But yeah, it's a cool ass system, and it's got a motor here for the selector. It's got a rotary encoder. That's what it is, a rotary encoder. It's even got a little magnet installed here to keep the lid down, which is just neat little touch. There's supposed to be lights that light up, but I'm not going to install them. I don't care for them. I'm not a big RGB guy, and I know which filament's being used. I don't need a light to tell me which ones that this is in front of. And it's got neat little touches, like it's got the Enraged Rabbit logo. It's got the carrot there. You can see that. Yeah, it's a little carrot. And yeah, this thing, and it even pivots. I still have to cut the excess off of here, make this the right length. So I basically got to take everything off. I'll have to take everything off when I tune these anyway, because some of them, I mean, you can see, like, yeah, like this one is really easy. Like, these are easy to do, but this one just doesn't want to cut it, just doesn't want to come back up real easy. Some of them are real stiff, and you don't want that. You want it very open. But some of these are okay. But yeah, I've got to tune it and make sure that it's working right. And then I get to do the printer. I have to finish the printer up. I've got all the parts on the print head that I need. I've got the probe sensor and the eddy current sensor for the bed leveling. Sorry, had to pause for a bit. Had company at the door. But yeah, it's a cool system. It's a really cool. Here, let me zoom out a little bit. It's a very cool system. And over in the corner there, somewhere in a box, I have hangers for 12 spools of filament. So once I get everything put together, I can put this in a permanent place where along with the printer, hang the spools on coat rods, like closet coat rods, and be ready to go. It's been a long trip on this one. I've been wanting this system since it came out like years ago, and finally getting it together. There's also a electronics box that goes here. That's the control box, control panel, or control board, and everything hooks in. It's even got on the end, when you wire everything, there's slots for all the connectors to snap into, so you don't have all these wires hanging around. You make everything short. Like these wires here will be shortened. These are the motor wires. All these are going to be shortened so that when you snake them around, so they're all going to be cut off like to there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, all these wires are going to be cut off to there, and then a new end connector is going to be put in place, the one that fits this, and I got 3 of them that fit this. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I've got cable chain drag chain, and I've got to feed this wire through it, but I have to do it. I have to cut off the connector because it won't feed through the holes. So I've got to cut off the connector, feed it through, and then I'm not sure why they did that. I'll have to check on something because I'm not sure why. Huh. That's weird. Maybe this connects back here. But anyway, it's got to be all wired up, and I'd like to have a framework of extrusion, like have this mounted to an like to a framework. This will be mounted to here, or I can mount this somewhere else. I can mount this on a wall if I want. But the ideal system is this is mounted to here, then this will be mounted to like a frame, like a box with no walls, just a box frame. And then the printer will sit inside that, maybe mount to it. And then I could even have it enclosed if I want to do like ABS or a higher temperature filament. So anyway, that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.